Hello there. Thanks for joining us on the Midday News on TVC. Let's bring you the updates now. We're staying in Abuja, where President Muhammadu Buhari has apologized to Nigerians over one of the pressing problems in the country, and that's petrol scarcity and power outage currently being experienced across all zones in the country. The president's apology was contained in a statement signed by his spokesman, Mr. Garba Shehu, who assured that the federal government is taking steps to address the situation. The president expressed regret over the inconveniences experienced by Nigerians regarding petrol shortage, adding that actions will be taken against those responsible for worsening the situation at the depots. On the issue of power outages witnessed recently in various parts of the country, President Buhari explained the main challenge was identified as being one of low gas power generation due to acts of sabotage on gas pipelines, which led to the shutdown of power plants. He added that the routine maintenance of other gas power plants also contributed to the situation. The president further explained that emergency measures had to be put in place after a meeting convened with key stakeholders to address the low power generation in the country. And that meeting, according to President Buhari, led to agreements on key actions between the players in the Nigeria electricity supply industry and the NNPC. He assured that the progress on the key action plans has yielded the results of a restoration of 375 megawatts to the grid after the pipeline from Okpai 1 was repaired. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has made some explanations on the current wave of power shortages in the country. He says the routine maintenance of power generation plants is a contributory factor to the current situation. Habida Lawal has the story.
The state of electricity supply in Nigeria is being resolved with the ongoing restoration of normal operations. Amid rising cost of diesel, the national electricity grid has collapsed again and again and is coming after a warning from electricity generation companies. The Minister of Power, Abubakar Aliyu, says the sector is where it is today because of the increasing vandalization of pipelines that also supply gas to the power plant, which is presently being resolved in collaboration with the relevant agencies. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission also identifies the drastic drop in the level of electricity generation capacity as part of the problem. Power generation dropped recently from a national average of about 5,300 megawatts in October 2021 to about 4,300 megawatts in March 2022. The drop in power generation, the NEC chairman said, was traced to the decline in electricity generation from the country's hydropower plant.
Power plants were attacked. It was the pipelines that were attacked, pipelines delivering gas to the plants. And usually they attack the crude pipeline, and because a lot of the gas is coming from associated gas in the course of producing oil, that disrupts the generation of gas, and then that also disrupts generation of power.
The first collapse we heard started because of a trip on 330 kV line in the Benin axis of the network. And that was caused by conductor snap.
The latest grid collapse confirmed the generating company's position that the Nigerian system operator had been prevailing on the energy generating firms to switch off and on their plant on a daily basis. Technically, the machines should not be turned off and on for more than 20 times in a year. But owing to the weakness of the grid, which cannot endure over 4,000 megawatts, the generating plants have been switched off and on up to 365 times in a year. The Gencos have called for an urgent meeting of all stakeholders in the power sector to resolve all issues with the hope of finding a lasting solution. Habida Lawal, TVC News, Abuja.
And still in Abuja, the House of Representatives has waded into the crisis between the Federal Capital Territory Administration and Nisa Premier Hospital over Gariki General Hospital. The House also called on the federal and state governments to enforce compulsory free education for children. to arrest rising insecurity. National Assembly correspondent Jokia Disa reports.
In March 2007, the Federal Capital Territory Administration signed a concession agreement with Nisa Premier Hospital to manage the Gariki General Hospital, Abuja, on a public-private partnership arrangement. The Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission Act provides that a 36-month notice be issued in the event of a termination of such an agreement. But on the 1st of March 2022, FCTA gave the management of the hospital a 1-month notice to vacate and hand over the facility.
Mr. Speaker,
Benue legislator Benjamin Uzodu and 2 others are concerned about alleged procedural flaws in the planned contract termination.
you have children in the incubator machine there who needs minimum 90 days. And we're talking about 30 days here. We have the mortuary that is filled up. How do we evacuate it?
They are more worried that the jobs of over 900 workers, including 21 consultants, are on the line.
The procedure has not been adhered to. The concessionaire had been writing pursuant to the agreement they signed.
The lawmakers resolved that the FCTA should stay action on the termination of the agreement pending the outcome of their 1-week probe. The rise in criminality and banditry necessitated Oshu member Bamidele Salam to sponsor a motion on the need for government at all levels, including the FCTA, to enforce compulsory free education in Nigeria.
Neglect of these children puts their future and indeed the future of Nigeria in jeopardy, as they are exposed to getting recruited into kidnapping, robbery gangs, drugs, and other crimes.
The House subsequently calls on the Chief of Army Staff and the IGP to save parts of Sokoto State from being annihilated.
People are having a serious situation of hopelessness. At random, these people find liberty in just coming into any community, busting in, killing, shooting sporadically and killing whoever come to their site.
The 2-man emergency rescue team on the evacuation of Nigerians trapped in the Russia-Ukraine war, led by House Leader Alhassan Adodogwa, has now laid its report ahead of its consideration at a later date. Jokia Disa, TVC News, Abuja.
Away from the Federal Capital Territory to Anambra State, which now has a new governor in the person of Charles Soludo. Professor Soludo took over as the 5th governor of the state from Willie Obiano. In the minutes after taking his oath of office, the governor promised to hit the ground running. Mr. Soludo's inauguration came about 4 months after his victory at the governorship poll. Correspondent Bamidele Ajayi reports.
This is certainly his last appearance at a state event as the governor of Anambra State after 8 years. Then a guard of honor for the new governor, Professor Chukwuma Soludo. The oath of office and oath of allegiance were administered to the new governor and his deputy.
Official conduct.
Governor Soludo went ahead to assure the people of his mission in the state seat of power.
The detailed plan rests on 5 key pillars. The first is law and order, and that is homeland peace and security. The second, economic transformation as Nigeria's next axis of industrial, tech, and leisure. And fourth is competitive and progressive social agenda to deal with education, health, youth, women, and vulnerable groups. And then governance, rule of law, and the rebirth of our value system.
He promised to effect radical change to deliver a better Anambra State that will be a model for other states to emulate.
Let the elite in the closet come out and let's debate our future and forge a consensus. The conspiracy of silence by the elite and some of the community leaders must end.
Expectations are high as stakeholders in the state are optimistic that Governor Soludo will redefine governance in the state.
Governance is about caring for the poor. It's about ensuring that people are pulled out of poverty. And look at his promises today. He consistently maintained that he's going to work for the people. He's going to secure the states.
You can see how he has started. He said he's come with a process of disruptive change. In other words, trying to change the ways of doing things in the past.
The operas of this world drove the ascendance of Eastern region into perhaps the fastest growing economy in the world. It did not come from Lagos down. It came from Enugu up.
Professor Chukwuma Soludo is the 6th democratically elected governor in the state since the creation of Anambra State in 1991. He is the 3rd elected governor of the state under the platform of the All Progressive Grand Alliance. Bamidele Ajayi, TVC News, Oka.